Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, guys? What's happening? Is this, is this, is this, is this, is that, is this, is we? Yes, yes it is. Yes it do. Yes it gonna. What's up, guys? What's happening? It's Chunk. We're gonna be doing another live stream. I'm going to be working on some 3D prints. So yeah, right now we're gonna be painting a little bit of red. I move the light over here a little bit. We're gonna be doing red, and we're gonna be doing the handles for the Deadpool katanas. Put that in frame here. So far what I've done, so y'all can see, I went ahead and taped off and painted the gold. This is gonna be silver. This is gonna have a little bit of silver trim. I went over the blade with what is this stuff called again? Graphite powder instead of like silver paint, so it can have like a metallic sheen to it without like being like regular paint, because regular paint's gonna scratch. I do need to fix this part here because of a little bit of bleed over. We're gonna be adding like red here. You know, just fixing it up. Just adding paint to where it needs to go, to where it should go. We're gonna be putting paint in its home. So let's go ahead and let's get it. I'm gonna be using very watery, very not thinned out, because this paint is very, very rich. It's what I use when I airbrush. I don't need to hear myself. Let me turn that off. Yeah, so it's the paint that I use when I airbrush. So this paint is very, very thin, and it can spread out very easily, very nicely. And it's like concentrated, which is good because that's what you want. Just want to add a little bit of white to the red so it pops a little bit before adding it to the thing. And by a little bit, I added a whole lot. This now looks pink. Let's add more red. Like straight red might have been like just good. Oh, no. Wipe. Ooh, comes right off. Nice. Okay. So we're going to be making mistakes. We're going to be making a mess. Let's make a mess. So anyways, how is everybody? These are the katanas from Deadpool. Customer ordered these. They said, just make them before October. And guess what? It's still before October. So we're going to be trying to finish them up right now. It's clogged? Yes? No? I feel like I'm going to make a mess. Anyways, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Say hi. Make sure you tap that screen. Give it a like. If you do enjoy watching 3D prints, watching 3D printed things get assembled and finished, and oh my god, that red just got ruined by 2 drops of black. Oh, this isn't even red anymore. This is purple? This is purple. I made purple. What do I need purple for? That's not the color I need. Well. Just gonna take the L. Just get some raw, straight red here. We'll just stick with that. No need to adjust what's already there. What's already good, right? So let's go ahead and let's get to it. So in between all these like, it should be like a texture of like a what are they, like a twine or fabric or something like that, like a tie-off thing on the handle. It should be red. Red. And the red, even though it's like, it's not translucent, it's very opaque. It's very thin. So it's going to definitely take multiple layers to get the desired effect that I want. In the meantime, in the background, I am printing candy charms for some a raver, a raver. He who does the raves is a ravist. He's going to be going to Nocturnal Wonderland. So I'm printing some candy charms for him, so we can go ahead and add to his bracelet. The candy charms say, "I heart Bean Dip." I guess that's one of the artists that's going to be performing. Unless otherwise, that's what I feel in my heart of hearts. And has nothing to do with the stuff that they do out there at those shows. It's solely the music. That's what I believe. And if it's not that, well, then don't break my little heart and tell me what that means. The charms say "I heart Bean Dip," and that's all there is to it. He's a very big fan of Bean Dip. If it's an artist, cool. What sort of music do they play? Obviously, it has to be like some sort of house, drum and bass, electric, beady bop, beady bum bum. So yeah. So all these little diamond parts in between the, like, the so-called fabric here should be red. Like I said, I'm going to have to go over this a few times to make sure that the red fully covers the black that's there. Because as you can see, it's, even though it's like covering, it's just kind of making some parts a little darker because they are slightly raised. So we're just going to go through. We're going to paint all these on this side. Give it a couple seconds to dry. We'll grab the other blade, start working on that one. And then we'll switch back to this one, flip it over, to the other side, flip back to the other one, flip it over, to the other side, and rinse and repeat until we get the desired outcome, which is a painted Deadpool Katana. Halloween's coming up. Anybody gonna be dressed as anything cool? What's going on? What's going on? What's happening? So yeah, like I said, these are the katanas from the movie Deadpool. I had a request recently. The guy said he wants Helldiver's costume. But now that the game Helldivers isn't as popular as it was, I think everyone's going to switch over to Warhammer. So I'm pretty sure he's going to want Warhammer stuff. I already saw some creators online making like the chainsaw that they use in the game. All 3D printed, of course. So that might be something I make in the future. 3D printed prop chainsaw sword thing from Warhammer. That'd be cool. So we're just filling in all these little triangle-y bits. And like I said, we're letting the paint do its thing. It is a very thin paint. I usually use it for airbrushing, but I feel that with so many little crevices, instead of using a boatload of tape, I'm just going to go ahead and just boop boop with the paintbrush. All right, so that's the one. Let's go ahead and set that down. Let's grab the other. Well, that is slowly drying. Because there is not one, but two. Let's go ahead and get this. Get this piece. So how is everybody doing on a Saturday? It's like 1,000 degrees here in SoCal. I went outside for a second to spray paint the bottom part gold, and I felt like my chanclas were gonna melt. If you don't know what a chancla is, it's a sandal, flip-flop. My sandals. What are those? What up, Warlock? What's going on? What goes on? Vera, what's happening? Chunks 3D, making stuff and things. Warlock, you gonna get Warhammer or what? Or what? I saw a vid of a guy on the game Warhammer. Of course, one guy, but he was just swarmed with like tons of these like lizard-looking alien things. Hundreds of them. And I thought to myself, even the swarms on Helldivers aren't that crazy. He was like chuck grenades and shooting guns at him and whatnot. They were like climbing the walls and stuff, like what's that zombie? Like World War Z or something like that. War Z. It was crazy. So this katana was printed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in 10 different pieces. And then after you print all the pieces and assemble, you actually insert a metal rod into the inside of it. So it has decent rigidity. So you don't have to be too careful. Normally with 3D prints, especially something this thin and this long, like you hit something the wrong way, tap something, bend it, it's gonna break. But with that additional internal structure, it's gonna definitely hold its own. Then you can go ahead and cosplay and take photos all you want without a worry. Any ideas or suggestions on next projects I should do? I know my sister wants me to print her a skeleton boy. Skelly boy. Her idea for the Skelly boy is she wants him to look like he's coming out of the wall. So his torso is going to be split in half. So she can go ahead and stick him to the wall somehow. I'm not sure. Probably like Velcro or something. Those command strips, maybe. A lot of them. And then she's going to cover all the edges and creases with some sort of, I think she said like moss, some sort of like plants to make it look like it's been there a while and that's growing out of the wall. Is this beach weather or what? How many of y'all need to go to the beach? I've been feeling like I need to go. Again, I went like two weeks ago, a week ago, something like that. And I'm itching, getting that itch to go again. I need to prop this up somehow. Stay. I put this over here because I need it like to not be tilting too much to one side or else the wet paint is just gonna drip. So this one is kind of dry. It's still drying, but boom, there's an opposite side. We're gonna go ahead and do that right here. I do have some overspray on this side, which sucks. So that means I'm going to have to go over the black with more black. But if I go over it with more black and it appears slightly different than the black that's already there, I'm going to have to go over the whole thing with more black. And that's going to be a pain. If you're interested in this 3D print or any other 3D prints, I do take quotes via the website www.chunks3d.com. You can go ahead and send me an email, provide any STLs you want printed. I can print them for you. I do go ahead and ship within the United States. Anything outside of the US, of course, shipping costs are crazy, and not only I don't want to have to deal with increased shipping costs, but I'm pretty sure them's overseas don't want to pay for shipping like that either. So, yeah, mainly US, but I have shipped to like Tennessee, Mississippi, Texas. Right now, I'm finishing up some rims. I'm gonna be shipping to Florida. There's a whole lot of going ons here at Chunks 3D. Next step is to get an actual workshop instead of doing this out of my apartment. That'd be dope. Hint, hint. Oh, woe is me if only I had a sponsor. House with a garage? Yeah. In due time. In due time. Till then, we'll be here, providing Chunks 3D services to all those on the internets. Hey, welcome, welcome. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Currently painting the Deadpool katanas for a customer for Halloween. Getting Halloween stuff ready. Spooky, scary skeletons send shivers down my spine. Something, something, doo-doo. That's how that song goes, right? Then just drops the bass and it's just like... Cool, let's go. Another side completed. I'd set this one aside. Grab the other one, flip it around to the other side of that, and wait for this one to dry and then do it again. We'll keep it going. Let's get this flow, you know what I'm saying? It's non-stop. Get it how you live. 10 toes in when we're standing on. That part of the song sounds like Lil Wayne. The very annoying little voice. 10 toes in when we're standing on. That's what it sounds like. And that was like the only good part of the song too. My wife would like, she was like, "Oh, I like it." And then she listened to the song, she was like, "Oh, that was the only good part." Getting there. Anybody watch Game Grumps? I've known who they are for the past couple of years. I've seen them popping up on my YouTube suggested feed of things to watch. And I've always kind of like overlooked it, mainly because the guy named Aaron, for some reason, I don't know, he seems like he'd be annoying. Started watching the show. He is annoying, but it's like funny. So the funny outweighs the annoying. But the main reason I started watching it is from my music suggestions that I've heard online. I've listened to the guy Dan Avidan. Avidan. I've listened to his stuff on Spotify, and I realized he's on Game Grumps. He's Dan from Game Grumps, so that's kind of cool. Yep. Let's flip this over. Probably gonna need about 3 coats on everything. Maybe more. We'll see how red it gets. All right. We're getting a nice little flow. Kind of filling it in with just a little pool of red. Since, like I said, it is a very thin, very watery paint. Letting it just kind of flow on the previous layer. Cool. Now gonna have to hold that for a bit because that was a decent amount of paint added to it. What do y'all think? Does it help it stand out? Help it look like the real deal? Help it look like the bee's knees? Huh? Huh? Oh. Okay, we're good. Crisis averted. All right, let's do this one now. If you are watching, sticking around, say something in the chat. Let me know you're here. What do you like? What don't you like? Any suggestions on paint? What do y'all think about 3D printing? Do you have a favorite 3D printer? What's your favorite brand of filament? Those are good questions. Have you ever, if you do 3D print, what's one of your worst 3D print experiences? I have a few up there, a few headaches. Not well. I guess you could say user error, but it was like during trying to figure things out and doing some upgrades on some of the equipment that I have, and it's just too much for my brain. Too much thinking. For example, I had bought the Creality Sonic Pad. The Sonic Pad, in theory, runs Klipper as a separate tablet to control your older 3D printer, and it be the new brains of the printer, and it like can run all the motors, heating elements, better, faster, stronger, harder, just like Daft Punk. And then you can print better with older equipment. Thing is, the Creality Sonic Pad doesn't communicate with my version of, or with my specific Creality printer, which is an Ender 3, the Ender 3 Pro, but it was such an old Ender 3 that it's not supported on that. And I was like, okay, great. So now what do I do? And Creality was like, well, here's like a GitHub where you can kind of figure it out yourself, and then you have to like figure out how to like write the firmware and all that. And I was just like, you know what? It's not for me. Writing firmware and updating code for the 3D printer is definitely out of my wheelhouse. So what I did is I just updated it back to the regular firmware, and then after I updated it back to the regular firmware, I did upgrade the motherboard, but it's still not running Klipper. I also kind of tried to do that with the, what is it? What's the printer called? The Anycubic Cobra Max. Same scenario, but the thing with the Anycubic Cobra Max is if you want to upgrade that one to run Klipper, you also have to modify the motherboard. Oof, that was another headache. To modify the motherboard on that one, you actually have to solder one of the resistors off of the motherboard and move it in a different point, which allows a better current to go through to be able to control the motors better and faster or something like that. So heating up the resistor and soldering it to a new spot was definitely a new experience, and it was definitely a lot trickier than what it looks online. It wouldn't stick, the solder wasn't going where it needed to go. It was definitely a panic attack because it's like, well, I already took off the resistor, and without it, I can't use the printer. And the only way to do it is to either correctly attach the resistor or get a new motherboard. After about a few hours, I was able to order. No, I was kidding. I was able to actually connect the resistor and get it up and running. But at that point in time, I decided that I was not going to try to run Klipper on that printer, just because that alone was already going to cause errors and issues, which it does. That printer's always kind of had like a lot of hiccups. And Klipper, from what I've seen online, doesn't help it with its hiccups and its freezes and all sorts of stuff. Sometimes like the printer itself just stops moving, but it still thinks it's printing. And like, yeah, it'll just sit there. It's annoying. And even running Klipper, it'll do the same thing. So that's something that I just figured out. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and avoid it. Leave it as is. Let it run slow. As long as I know that the slow can get the job done, whatever job it may be, we'll go ahead and just have it do that. Any questions? How David Punk is, man. Hello, hello. Welcome to Chunks 3D. I'm currently painting the Deadpool katanas, as you can see here. Just kind of waiting for these little red things to dry just a little bit before I flip it over again. I'm going to do multiple coats to try to make sure that the red is, pristine, is precise red. You know, what is it? Hang on. How do kids do it? How do they do? Like this? And move that closer. Here. There you go. The old school way was like this. Like the fat hearts. Kids do. I already lost it. What was it again? Like this. 2 index fingers. Or your index and middle. So yeah, currently 3D printing those charms down at the bottom. Still a few layers to go, maybe another hour or so. It's doing layer changes and it's doing multicolor. So the bodies of the charms are printed in a silk, like red and blue, and then the middle part, of course, is like white, so the text stands out on those candy charms. I also have more of those chains printing. I do have to print 100, and I'm only a few in. I had to modify the file and kind of start all over and scrap a few of them. So, yay! It's all the part of, learning, churning, and burning. Is that how you do? Let's go ahead and move on from doing the sides here. And we're going to go ahead and paint this top part that's got Deadpool's face on it. Hang on, let me look at a reference photo because I believe that this is just the red eyes. But I want to double check because if it's the red outside and I leave the eyes black and leave the border black, that'd be a little easier. I'm just looking it up online real quick. Interesting. Because the ones that have red on them have a different, whatever you call that thing. And the ones that look like what I'm painting now are just black. Black and gold. Whew. So you're telling me that all these little middle parts should be gold? Oh, man. Oh, no. That's a whole nother story here. Yeah, they're supposed to be gold. God dang it. God dang it. So what I'm going to do is I need to let them dry. I'm going to have to spend a good hour or so taping it off. And then we'll hit it with some of the gold spray paint. The same gold that I use here. Same thing with the eyes in here. And then that should be done. And then I need to go over the black because of the overspray. So that's going to be fun. Well. Interesting. Very, very interesting. It would make it a lot easier, less colors. That's what I get for like just kind of jumping the gun because the red seems like it would go good for Deadpool, right? And then the Deadpool logo, I thought it was going to be all red, black eyes, a black border, kind of like his belt buckle. But I guess no, just gold and black, gold and black. I guess that makes sense with the bottom symbol being like the initials of all four of the Golden Girls, because these are his Golden Girls. Ah, fun. All right, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to stop what I'm doing now and game or something. Well, that was short-lived. We'll call it a stream for the day. I gotta wait for paint to dry, and watching paint dry is no fun. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Thanks for stopping by. Later.